Namaskar. Hello, I am Pavan. Today I have a topic of history of yoga, and yoga is like we are doing whatever work, that all is yoga. It also called living tradition in today's life. So first we will know about what is yoga and how yoga will help in our regular life. So what is yoga? The word yoga literal means yoke or join. It means unite to our body, mind and soul. It also means one of the joys of yoga is that everyone can start, no matters what age they are and what state of health and mind. Any kind of yoga you can do that will give you a peace and you can feel good. Yoga promises to deliver relaxation to your body and mind. And whenever you have a stress, that also give you inside of your heart and mind peace and calmness. Negativity goes and courage comes in to your body. That gives you yoga. Now we will know little bit history about yoga, when yoga comes and how that all will start. A form of yoga may date back over 40,000 years, not only 40,000, it's also came back from many more than years. The ancient Indus Saraswati civilization is highly advanced civilization which is responsible for developing the science of yoga. The yoga we practice today is culmination of all the yogas mixtures. In that Indus Valley civilization, archaeology surprise extended over an area of around 3 lakh square miles. There they will get sewage plants, they also get meditation postures in people are sitting and they carvings which and Indus Saraswati civilization, its names come from two river names, and in this from Indian culture we will know we have many gurus in our regular life we will see, and we also know yoga comes from many years back. There are many part of yoga, so we will know there are multi-storage bricks we will see in Indus Saraswati civilization's time. They also have a back bricks, sewage system, huge public bath and all these things. So why I am telling you all these things? Because that people knows yoga and they also started from this all these things which we are doing like I said. There are you can see some pictures of that time. A satellite seal of a yogi seated in meditation from the Mohenjo-daro region, ancient of India. People are doing meditation, people are doing yoga, but they are doing in different forms. Even there are meditation shows in carvings. There are terracotta stones in figures and many things. You can see all these things in carvings, and you can also see today still people are finding for peace and all these things we are doing all this thing. There are many, even now we will know about history. There are primary source and secondary source. We will show about primary source first. So primary source is like there are pre-Vedic time, Vedic time, classical time, pre-classical time, post-classical time, post-classical time, modern time, that all are coming secondary source. So there are three main texts, books in this. The Brahma Sutras, known as Jnana Prasthana. Second, we also have a Upanishads, that also Updesha Prasthana, and the third one Bhagavad Gita, known as Asdhan Prasthana. So first we will also know about some what comes in pre-Vedic. We don't have that much of books, whatever we say, around books, and we have some stones and all these things. From pre-Vedic time we don't have, then we have a Vedic time. In Vedic time we also have pre-classical times. Then Vedic time we have a Vedas, that also this we are talking about. Upanishads, Mahabharata, Ramayana and all this time, that all comes in pre-classical. Then we have a 0 to 500 CE. We have all this in centuries timing. Then there after pre-classical we have classical time. In that we have Yoga Sutras. There we will get Patanjali's Yoga Sutras and all this thing. There are 6 school of Saddarsanas. Yoga school, Sankhya philosophy, then Nyaya, Vedanta, Nyasa, Nimanta, that all are comes in classical. Then we have a post-classical, that in that we have a Tantra, Shiva Sutras, Shiva Samhitas. So that pre-classical, first we will know some things. Oldest know in this, oldest form of known yoga is the Vedic yoga. Brahmans and Acharyas, Upanishads, Agamas and Puranas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, that I already told you, Buddhism, Jainism, Bhagavad Gita written in this period. So that all are comes in pre-classical. So we will know a little bit about Upanishad. What is Upanishad? Upanishad means sit near down. Whichever knowledge we will take under our Guru's feet, that means Upanishad. In Upanishad, Isa Upanishad, Kena Upanishad, Katha Upanishad, Prasanna Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, Manduka Upanishad, Aitreya Upanishad, Taitra Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad, Kausitaki Upanishad, Sweta Vatrama Upanishad or Maitri Upanishad. So there are different types of Upanishads are there, and totally 108 in Muktiga Upanishads. The main thing is Upanishads it means they express the restlessness and striving of human mind, grasp the true nature and reality. They set forth fundamental concepts that are sound, they lofty ideas and poetry. They have power to move greatest minds. Upanishads are this. फिर we have We also have Vedic yogas. In this Rig Veda, praise of higher power, means Yajur Veda. There are four Vedas: Rig Ved, Yajur Ved, Samaved, Atharva Ved. Rig means praise of higher power. Yajur means knowledge of science. Sam Veda, that called knowledge of chantings. Atharva Veda, knowledge of Atharvan. And then we have a Vedic science and Jyotish Shastra. Jyotish, even we also have a Jyotish Shastra. In that many different parts are there. Jyotish Shastra is astrology, occultus, chemistry, alchemistry, metaphysics, Vedic maths are all form of Vedas. The Brahmans, Vedic humans and rituals, that also part of Vedas. The Aranyakas lives in seclusion in a forest hermitages. Then comes classical yoga. In mainly classical yoga, Patanjali Yoga Sutras comes, and that 6 schools are come. Yoga school, Samkhya school, then Vedanta, Nimhansa, Nyaya school, that all are comes in classical. These are Patanjali's statue. Classical Patanjali. Patanjali is a codifier of yoga. Patanjali find the 8 folds of yoga, that called Ashtanga yoga, that also called 8 limbs of yoga. Padma Purana refers to Patanjali. Patanjali born in Ilavrita, Varsa. Patanjali is a son of Angirira and Sati, married to Lolupa. These are 8 limbs of yoga. In 8 limbs of yoga, we have 5 yamas, 5 niyamas, asanas, pranayama, pratyahara, dhyana, dharana or samadhi. So we will start from yamas. 5 yamas are ahimsa, satya, asteya, aparigraha and brahmacharya. Ahimsa means kindness. Whatever we will do, we have to do with kindness. We don't, just like one example, we were taking someone's money. It's not a kindness. Kindness means we have to kind with every person. Then satya, truthfulness. Whatever we speak, whatever, whenever, we have to speak only truth. So that is yamas. Second, asteya, non-stealing. Non-stealing मतलब कि non-stealing means we don't want to steal anyone's anything else. Just like some people are doing someone's stealing money and all these things. So they are not asteya. Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya means we don't want to lose our this world, and we have to go in. We have to go from our far from our families, and we have to stay in that big under the trees and all these things. That called moderation. And aparega, generosity. We have to like whatever we are, we have to see from as it is, generosity. Then 5 niyamas. सोच, संतोषा, तपस, स्वाध्याय और ईश्वर परिग्रह, ईश्वर परिनिधा, मतलब कि वी हैव टू सरेंडर. तो प्योरिटी, कंटेंटमेंट, austerity, self-study, and surrender. Purity means we have to pure from inside and outside both. So we have to do, for that we will do meditation and all this. Santosa means contentment. We human beings have one this kind of thing. We want this, and we also want this thing. If someone have a car, big car, so we are also thinking okay, we also want this big car. So we have to control on this slowly. Austerity means we have to do sadhana regularly. Tapas means we have to do tapasya for whatever we want, because if we have all the yamas, then tapas comes already. And swadhyaya means self study. We have to do self study. What we are doing, we are doing right or wrong, and this thing. Surrender. Surrender means we have to surrender to our God. God knows what we want and what we don't want. So we have to surrender all these things to our God. So we have to don't think about any worldly worries. Then it comes to asanas. Asanas means it's not only posture. Asana means whatever we do in our daily life, that all called asanas. Whenever we sit on chair, in today's generation, people are mostly sitting on chair. They have a back arch, back problems, and all these things. So that is not a correct posture. That's why they have a back pain. Some have a leg pain, and all these things. Positioning of the body. What is asana? I tell you first. Positioning of the body connects them to the mind and spirit to create the strength, flexibility, balance, and focus. That is mainly called asana. So we have to focus our body slowly, and then we have to control all this. When we have a yamas, niyama, and asana, then we slowly move down to pranayama. Then we have all these three that automatically comes fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. Prana, mindful breathing, control of breathing. When we are doing asanas, when we are observing our bodies, and we are adding our life in our morals and all these things, so we also add slowly our breathing control. That will help you to our regular lives, thinking, and all these things. So when we have a control on our breathing, so that also helps to regulate our life. Then next point is pratyahara, turning inwards. Pratyahara means withdrawal of the senses to the mind. So we have to control our mind slowly, and slowly we have to give our mind to you have to slowly go inside to your heart. So that is your all the senses in your hands, and you can control. Just like we have a breathing control, we have a sense touching, we have a ear for hearing, we have a smell sense. So we have to control on all these senses. Then slowly come to dharana, concentration, focusing, and attention. When we have all these 5 limbs, that concentration comes automatically. When we do asanas, pranayama, pratyahara, so when whatever we doing, our work, office work, focusing and attention the work in office, in yoga, you can also control slowly your day. In a small example, you can see if someone told something, and you can listen that person, but you are not becoming angry on that person that time. Just like your office, in your boss is telling you something, but you don't want to do it, you are right that time. So you are controlling your, so that is focusing on your work, so you do and attention in your all this work and all this thing. Then slowly comes to dhyana. Dhyana means to focus or concentrate without any thoughts in our head and achieve a state of complete stillness. Dhyana also called meditation, observation and reflections. Now dhyana, there are many types of dhyana in nowadays. Nowadays they have many dhyanas, just like we will take example. We have SSRV, we have Brahma Kumaris, we have heartfulness. But you can choose whatever dharana that will help you to regulate your mind and your body. If you are doing regular dhyan with proper way, that will help you more and more to concentrate in your work. Your senses is in your control. You can do pranayama easily, asanas you can also do easily. So all these 6 things you can take it easily if you do regular meditation. So now I'll give you one good example of one best meditation whichever I felt good and what I am doing. There is a called heartfulness meditation. You can try this. That is comes from very old generation. Like Raja in Ramayana time, Raja Dasrath is doing that Raj Yoga meditation. That meditation is teaching by Heartfulness Center, and that is very simple meditation. So you can also do this heartfulness meditation. Whatever your heart say, you can try this, but you should do. Then it comes to samadhi. When you are doing dhyana easily, that slowly comes to you can samadhi. There are pure bliss. Samadhi means tranquility, fulfillment and spiritual illumination. It also called state of ecstasy. So you can easily pure bliss, you can feel. You are not worried about any worldly things and all these things. So that will called samadhi. Yama. Now yama, niyamas, asanas, pranayama, pratyahara, dhyana or samadhi. That all comes like one tree. And if you follow all these things, so you are one yogi. So you can make your life very easy. You can also enjoy your life, and you can also give other persons about this knowledge, and that person also feel good from your vibrations and all these things. So that is called Patanjali's 8 limbs of yoga. Then we will slowly move to post-classical yoga. There are in post-classical yoga comes Hatha Yoga Pradipika, Grahanta Samhita and many things. Vedanta and end of Vedas. That ending of Vedas is here. It's now continue many times, but that slowly changes of a shift of time and some new what we call some new schools, and that all this comes. Gauraksa Praditya, that comes that time, and the biggest thing is coming tantras like Shiva Sutras and Shiva Samhitas. That all comes in post classical yoga. We can count in all these things. The post classical yoga is like the molding of the spiritual and physical connection. That was the beginning of the form of yoga which is mainly practiced in the West, Hatha Yoga. So it's also slowly people are attracting about physical and mental and spiritual body, and people are started doing yoga, that Hatha Yoga. That also called discovered under the hollow of the tree northern slope of mountain Sumeru. There are one written commentary on Mahabhasya or great commentary on Panini's Sanskrit grammar that called three Yoga Darshana Sutras, 3rd and 5th century between Britain. This all this thing. Incarnation of Adisha and Lord Vishnu called Patanjali. That then after comes we will come in modern time. What is yoga? In modern time we can count Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa, Paramahansa Yogananda, Ramana Maharishi, Sri Aurobindo Osho, Jiddu Krishnamurti, Sri Ramchandra Mission. So they are all this come in modern time. So we will take some in 1893 Sri Swami Vivekananda traveled to the world, traveled to the USA to speak of Hinduism, but surprisingly sparkled an interest in Eastern. Surprisingly interest in Eastern philosophy and yoga amongst the intellectual in the states. People are accepting that. The Theosophical societies was particularly powerful and spreading the word. People are accepting madly this all. In psychological Carl Jung praised benefit of yoga on mental health. In 1935, yoga was the greatest things the human mind has ever created. 1960, yoga started becoming popular in Western. During 1970s and 80s, yoga get more followers. After that, slowly until the 1990s, when gym and this all these things come slowly, that must be people are going changes their lifestyle to yoga, to gymming and all these things. So they also thinks about no pain no gain, that yoga really looks to off in Western world. So people are started making, some are transformed to yoga to gym, and some are come to gym to yoga, because in yoga you don't get a pain, in gym you get pain. So that also people thinks about no pain no gain. 7 main branches of yoga. There are Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga means the most popular form of yoga in Western world, from the Sanskrit words. Ha means sun and Tha meaning moon. Hatha uses postures and conscious breathing. In Hatha Yoga, mainly people are think on control on their body, and they always try to connect with their heart. Hatha uses two postures to conscious breathing continuously. Then it's come to Raj Yoga. Classical yoga from the Sanskrit word for royal. The ethos behind our mind created our reality. Always beginning with a session of Hatha Yoga. Raj Yoga is also you can called Hatha Yoga's one part, that called higher level of yoga. Then we can call Karma Yoga. In Karma Yoga today's generation we will tell like if whatever you do that will comes to you. Karma will show you. So in India people always tell karma will help you. If you do good, you will get good. So that is called Karma Yoga. So that's why we will told karma means right action. Even Mother Teresa also. Mother Teresa called Karma Yogini, that her work is the love in action. She always do work for people. Then we will come Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means in India there are many gurus. They do only bhakti. So that called bhakti. Like in India you can see for Bhakti Yoga Hanuman. He only do bhakti for Lord Rama. Even you can see Radha. She also do bhakti for Krishna, Mirabai. That all are called Bhakti Yogas example. From Bhakti means from the Sanskrit word bhaja means to adore and worship to God. Easiest form of yoga to master. From Bhakti Yoga, if you are doing Bhakti Yoga, you can reach easily to your God. फिर Jnana Yoga. The written of great sage Jiddu Krishnamurti are good example of Jnana Yoga. He is a good writer and he writes very much good about Jnana Yoga means. Then it comes to Tantra Yoga, where opposites mates become one. So Tantra Yoga is there. Tantra and it also called mantra. So in India we have a Tantra and mantra that we have to follow to our some rituals and all these things. In Mantra Yoga in India, Brahmins are doing mantras for doing some it's called havans and all these things. If you are going Rishikesh, Haridwar, so you can properly know what is mantras. And even Tantra Yogas we also use in yoga. We also use mantras in Surya Namaskar. In some other asanas also we will know using mantras. So mantra means mind projection and refers to sound. It uses through chanting or reciting as a means to quiet the mind and block out all the thought. We are putting our mind in one thought. In India mostly people are doing, there is a one mala comes with 108 stones, 108 rudraks. So people are doing with continuously speaking Ram 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 Many people are doing some other names and all these things. So people are also follow this all these things, and that all these they all seven branches helps to maintain your health, your mind's peace and clarity. That also gives you a physical clarity, that gives you like a full package of your body. You can do all these things with sitting at your home, and you will feel good when you started doing yogas and all. Once you go in this, then you can slowly feel all these mantras and all this getting knowledge. And there are three types of sufferings in human bodies. There are three types of sufferings in all the human bodies. Abhi bhutika means abhuta or living being or physical suffering. We have a physical suffering, like someone have some diabetes problem, some have a blood pressure problem, that we have to suffer. That gives, we have to accept with nature's gift. Then second one is come adhidevika. It means divine or duplicate, unseen forces are God. So some are comes from God. This is like a divine. It is also called divine pain. Like if you are in spirituality, so you have some goal, you have to reach there, but you can't reach that easily. For that you have to feel some spiritual pain. Some are doing many people are doing many upvas, fasting, and giving their body pain for reaching some divine places. And third one is come adhyatmika suffering. Adhyatmic suffering means you have to do only your worship, then whenever your God, and whenever our body will reach that level, that time you will get some pain, some kind, whatever comes to you. That also it comes on atma, it comes on body, and that also comes in your mind. So in human being we have these fixed things. Every human being has some different kind of problems. Some have materialistic problems, that also part of yoga. It's like if you are student of a new yoga classes, so you are not able to do some asanas. That is one kind of your suffering. So that any kind of suffering that will help you to reach your goal. What is our goal of life? In our human beings, goal of life is we have to follow our passion, and nowadays goal of life is totally changed. People are going only behind money and all this money, passion and status. Before post classical period, mostly people are going behind their spiritual wealth and their inner peace. But nowadays people are only going behind material wealth and all this, and they get depression, and then slowly they have to come to yoga and meditation and all this, but they are not getting till the date proper whatever they want. So there are four karmas that called goal of life: artha, seeking security; kama, the art of enjoying pleasure. Art of enjoying pleasure means whatever we get, We have to enjoy with happiness. We have to enjoy properly whatever we get. Even in material life, in spiritual life, we have to enjoy all these things. Conscious living, it's called dharma. We have to always say thanks to God to whatever we get every day. In every morning, in India, before in India, people used to told whenever they wake up in morning, they put their feet on ground and they always say thanks to God because they give this life for that day. So that nowadays people are not following this, but mostly people are doing these things, and that gives you some different kind of happiness when you say to God thank you. You can try this thing. Then called moksha, freedom from all the limitations. We whatever you have, if you don't also have, just or you don't want to limitless in your work, in your spirituality, you can with your family, with your wife. We don't have to bound with anything else. We have to do every day. We have to go forward and forward. So we will know what we are doing and why we are here in this world. If you are accepting all these worries and all these things comes to you, in nowadays you can see corona is coming in this world, so people are not following properly. Some are not wearing masks, some are not washing their hands and all this. But if when they started accepting all these things, mask and sanitizer and all, now they are happily accept this and they mind also happy. So when your mind is happy, your heart is happy. Your heart is happy, your whole body is happy. So we have to accept whatever comes to us. If we are crying behind that things, it means that gives more pain to our body and our health. So we have to accept all these things and we have to go with flow. It's like you can hear sometimes whenever you get something pain and all this thing, we will go to some church, some are going to temples and some are going to garden and all these things, and they feel happy because there are many positive energies. So we have to spread always positive energy. That is our goal of life, and that's yoga. If you are a yoga trainer, if you are learning the yoga, and what is the main yoga history is always give someone love, peace, happiness to everyone, and teach everyone what is yoga and all this. Now slowly we will conclude all this session because there are many long things in this history of yoga. Some are I am not included in this, some are included in future. Now slowly will come. It's last Om Tat Sat. Om is also have a good meaning. You can speak Om regularly. So there is a one case I have to share with you. With Om in India, one person have cancer. Doctor said you have to do operation and all this. So that person started chanting Om full day for 1 week, and doctors see that cancers inject in his body. It's becoming very less, and that counted is coming slowly down. So Om also have a big meaning. Om is a universal. Anyone can speak. There is no limitation for anyone. Ki this caste is don't allow to speak and all this. Tat Sat means we have to accept it is as it. Okay. Thank you. And sorry for